Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathsala. I am Dr. Shanti, Assistant Professor in the Department of Biochemistry, Biotechnology and Bioinformatics, Avinash Lingam Institute for Home Science and Higher Education for Women, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. All of us know that we have the capacity to regulate our body temperature, whereas the lower organism, they cannot maintain the body temperature. They are all at the mercy of the environment. In this module, a brief introduction will be given regarding our body temperature and the mechanism involved in the regulation of body temperature. This lesson will also explain how our body maintains its temperature in extreme environmental conditions. After completion of this module, the learner will be able to know the basics about body temperature, mechanism of regulation of body temperature, and abnormalities of body temperature regulation. So now let us see about some of the basics about body temperature. The body temperature is determined by the balance between the heat production and heat loss of the body. In all living organisms, the heat is produced by muscular activity, food intake, that is by the dynamic action of food, and basic metabolic process. The heat is lost from the body by three ways. One is radiation, conduction, and evaporation. This will be elaborated after some times. The lower organisms such as reptiles, amphibians, and fishes, they cannot maintain the body temperature. They are all at the mercy of the environment. There is no temperature adjusting mechanism in these animals. The body temperature fluctuates for a considerable range. They are called cold-blooded or piclothermic animals. Whereas the birds and mammals are called warm-blooded or homeothermic animals because they maintain the body temperature in spite of wide variations in environmental temperature. What is the normal body temperature means? In the case of human, there is a slight variation in normal body temperature at different parts of the body. The oral temperature of human is 98.4 degree Fahrenheit. The temperature of the scrotum is regulated at 32 degrees centigrade. The rectal temperature is slightly higher, about 0.5 degrees centigrade than the oral temperature. The rectal temperature represents the core body temperature of 37.8 degrees centigrade. And varies very little with change in the environmental temperature. The oral temperature is affected by many factors such as ingestion of hot or cold fluid, gum chewing, smoking, and mouth breathing. Now let us see the factors affecting body temperature. This will be discussed under two major headings. First one is physiological variation and second one is the pathological variations. So under physiological variations include diurnal variations where the normal core body temperature shows the regular circadian fluctuations of 0.5 to 0.7 degrees centigrade. Body temperature is highest in the evening after day's labor and lowest early in the morning after night rest. Infants have imperfect temperature, hence the variation is wider. In old age, the temperature is subnormal because of less activity and low in basal metabolic rate. Females have slightly lower temperature than males because of low basal metabolic rate. Body temperature rises when the metabolic rate is high and lowered when the metabolic rate is low. Nature of food also plays a major role in affecting body temperature. Protein food raises body temperature due to high specific dynamic action. Exercises and emotions also increases body temperature. Here majority of the muscular energy is converted to heat and the atmospheric temperature, humidity and wind have direct contact with the body surface, hence affect body temperature. So now let's see the pathological variations include hypothermia and hyperthermia. Hypothermia fever refers to the pathologically raised body temperature due to infection, toxic substances and hypothyroidism. And the hypothermia refers to lowered body temperature due to some pathological causes such as hypothyroidism and hemorrhage in certain parts of the brain, particularly pons orally. Heat balance. Heat balance refers to the balance between the mechanism of net heat gained by the body and the mechanism of heat losses from the body. There are two main mechanisms involved in heat gained by the body. One is heat production in the body itself and another from the environment. Heat production in the body is also called as thermogenesis. Thermogenesis by muscular activity, basic metabolic process and food intake. Skeletal muscles are the major source of heat production. The mechanism includes muscle tone, respiration and shivering. Muscle tone are unconscious tensing of muscle produce heat even when the individual is resting. Great amount of heat is produced during exercise and respiration. During respiration, the respiratory muscles produce heat, and shivering is the oscillating rhythmic tremors of muscles in response to cold. So the other mechanisms responsible for heat production in the body is physiological oxidation of food materials. 1 gram of carbohydrate and protein yield 4 calories and 1 gram of fat yield about 9 calories. This is called heat of metabolism. So the ingestion of food also increases heat production because of the specific dynamic action of the food. The second mechanism of heat gained by the body is from the environment. So generally, body gains heat by direct radiation from the sun and heated ground and reflected radiation from the sky. The amount of heat gained by the radiation can be prevented by warming garments which reflect the radiation or by making use of shade. Body gains heat when immersed in hot water called as conduction and then the injection of hot fluids. The mechanism of heat loss from the skin surface occurs through the radiation, conduction, convection and evaporation. The heat transfer depends on temperature differences between the body and the atmosphere, and the mechanism is a passive process. So nearly 50% of heat loss from the skin is through radiation. The color of clothing plays a major role in radiation, but the color of skin has no effect. The magnitude of radiation depends on the size of the body. 20% of the heat loss from the body is by conduction and convection. So about 27% of heat loss by evaporation, that is through perspiration and sweating. The factors affecting cutaneous loss are temperature differences between the skin and the surrounding environment. The subcutaneous fat acts as an insulator system. It is important in maintaining body temperature even though it varies wildly with the surrounding environment. Piloerector muscle contracts when the surrounding environment is cold and causes erection of hair, so that the air trapped between the hair acts as an insulator. Woolen cloths prevent heat loss than cotton cloths because large amount of air is entrapped between the hair in woolen cloths. So next, the heat loss from the lungs occurs by three mechanisms. One is evaporation of water from the expired air, warming up of inspired air into the body temperature. It accounts for 2% of heat loss, and then panting, which means the rapid shallow breathing and results in heat loss through mouth and respiratory passages. Heat loss in the excreta. About 1% of heat loss from the body occurs through urine and excreta. So far we have seen the mechanism of heat gain and the heat loss of the body. Now we will see the mechanism of body temperature regulation. As I told already, we are all homeothermic and we have temperature control system which maintains the internal body temperature constant. The normal body temperature of human is 98.6 degree Fahrenheit and is regulated by natural neural feedback mechanism through hypothalamus. The hypothalamus not only contains control mechanisms but also temperature sensors. So the temperature control system consists of three major components. One is called thermoreceptors and second one is the hypothalamus, the thermostat, an integrator of temperature control system, and thermoregulatory effector mechanism. So in this thermoreceptors, they give information about the body temperature to the temperature control system of the hypothalamus. Thermoreceptors are classified into two types. One is peripheral thermoreceptors located throughout the body in the skin and mucous membrane and more concerned in preventing hypothermia. Cutaneous thermoreceptors sense surface temperature. Nearly 90% of them are cold receptors. Deep receptors sense the core body temperature present in the viscera, mainly to detect cold than warm. Central thermoreceptors are located in the hypothalamus. It responds to the local temperature mainly affected by the temperature of the blood. Hypothalamus is the integrator of temperature control system. It acts as a servo mechanism, which means that the control system acts as negative feedback to operate another system. The following three types of hypothalamic neurons are involved in temperature regulation based on function. Sensing neurons are feedback detectors. The second one is heat loss center or anti-rise center, and third one is heat production or anti-drop center. Sensing neurons or feedback detectors are the neurons located in the anterior hypothalamus. It collects information from central as well as peripheral thermoreceptors. There are two types of neurons. The warm sensitive neurons collect information from warmth receptors, and cold sensitive neurons collect information from cold receptors. The central and peripheral thermoreceptors rarely give identical information about body temperature, so that the hypothalamus calculates integrate temperature from the feedback received. The heat loss center or anti-rise center is composed of neurons located in the preoptic region and anterior hypothalamus. Electrical stimulation of this area produces heat loss by cutaneous vasodilation, sweating, panting, and decreases heat production by inhibiting shivering. When there is an abnormality in the functioning of heat loss center, sweating and vasodilation will not occur. This will lead to hypothermia when the individual is placed in a warm environment. Heat production or anti-drop center located in the posterior or caudal hypothalamus. Stimulation of this area conserves heat by cutaneous vasoconstriction and activates heat production by evoking shivering and increasing the metabolic rate through the release of thyroid stimulating hormone. Abnormalities in this area prevent heat production and conservation. This will lead to hypothermia when the individual is placed in cold environment. So the thermoregulatory effectors are the third one. This is integrated by the thermostat located in the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus thermostat has set point which is normally 98.6 Fahrenheit. Any change in set point, whether it is raised or lowered body temperature, that evoke thermoregulatory effectors mechanism to restore body temperature towards the set point. The reflex and semi-reflex thermoregulatory responses in human includes automatic, somatic, endocrine and behavioral changes. One group of responses increases heat loss and decreases heat production. The other decreases heat loss and increases heat production. The general exposure to heat stimulates the former group of responses and inhibit the later one, whereas exposure to cold does the opposite. The thermoregulatory mechanism can be grouped into two main categories as shown in table 1, that is the mechanism activated by heat, and another one is mechanism activated by cold. The mechanism activated by heat includes the cutaneous vasodilation. Cutaneous vessels act as radiator system of the body. When the body is exposed to heat stresses, cutaneous blood flow increases from 4 to 5 ml per 100 gram to 150 ml per 100 gram of skin weight per minute, so that warm blood is brought from the deeper tissues to the surface and the heat losses through conduction, radiation and convection mechanism. So mechanism of cutaneous vasodilation is produced through the following mechanism. One is local effect is thought through body kinins released from the secretory activity of sweat glands that cause local vasodilation. Spinal reflex evoked by peripheral thermoreceptors produce localized vasodilation. Hypothalamus controlled impulses from the heat loss center of hypothalamus produce inhibition of the sympathetic discharge to cutaneous vessel, causing vasodilation and accumulation of blood in subpapillary venous plexus. The effect of sympathetic inhibition is particularly prominent in the hands, feet and ear lobules, where AV anastomosis present in the skin are normally kept closed by the strong sympathetic discharge. So the sweating is an important mechanism of heat loss when a person is exposed to the environment where the temperature is greater than the body temperature. There are two types of sweat glands. One is eccrine sweat gland distributed all over the body and plays a major thermoregulation of the body. The ducts are open on the surface of the skin independent of hair follicles. Apocrine glands, they are distributed in the skin or axilla, pubic, circumalveolar and circum areas, anal areas. The gland ducts open into the hair follicle above the opening of sebaceous and they do not have thermoregulatory functions. So when the environmental temperature rises about 33 degrees centigrade, the sweating is induced by three mechanisms. One is local response, spinal reflex and hypothalamic influence. The impulse from the heat loss center of the anterior hypothalamus increases impulse discharge in the sympathetic cholinergic fibers to the sweat gland. As a result, the sweating starts suddenly and the rate of sweating increases according to the increase in environmental temperature. The rate of sweating is 0 during cold weather and a maximum of 700 ml per hour in a hot weather. In a hot climate, this may reach 10 liters per day. The heavy sweating leads to dehydration and loss of sodium chloride, and even that may occur. Adaptation to high environmental temperature may occur when an individual is exposed for prolonged duration to high environmental temperature. This process is called acclimatization. The decrease in level of sodium chloride in the body fluid due to sweating influences the secretion of aldosterone. The increased secretion of aldosterone stimulates the absorption of sodium and chlorine ions, the duct. This reduces the excretion of salt to 3 to 5 gram per day as compared to 15 to 30 gram per day before acclimatization. The third one is the panting. Panting is simply the rapid shallow breathing which increases heat loss by increasing water vaporization in the mouth and respiratory passages. Now let us see the mechanism of decreasing heat production and heat gain from the environment. Anoxia and lethargy. An increase in ambient temperature produces anoxia and lethargy. Anoxia results in decreased food intake which decreases heat production. Lethargy decreases muscular activity which decreases heat production by activity. And the next one is the behavioral responses. It includes shelter in shade or a cooler place. This act decreases heat gain from the environment. So the next is the mechanism activated by cold. So the mechanism conserving heat, one is the cutaneous vasoconstriction. The immediate reflex response to cold is cutaneous vasoconstriction. This reduces heat loss from the core body to surface. And then the mechanism involved includes direct local effect of cold and then local spinal reflex due to peripheral thermoreceptors. Hypothalamus controlled cutaneous vasoconstriction. So impulses from the heat for the heat production and the conservation center increases the sympathetic discharge to the cutaneous vessels, causing extreme vasoconstriction. The effect of increased sympathetic discharge is particularly prominent on the hand, feet and earlobes, where closure of AV anastomus present in the skin reduces the cutaneous blood flow to as low as 1 to 100 grams per skin weight per minute. The blood-less skin prevents heat loss and acts as an insulating barrier between warm core of the body and cold environment. Fluor action during cold climate, the low temperature induces the erection of body hair and entraps a low layer of air in the hair. This acts as insulator and reduces cutaneous heat loss. So next is the behavioral response. It includes curling up while sleeping and putting warmer clothes which prevent also heat loss. So the mechanism increasing heat production by shivering thermogenesis. When the heat loss prevented by cutaneous vasoconstriction is not sufficient to cope up with the environmental cold, heat production is increased by shivering. This is involved by the heat production and conservation center located in the posterior hypothalamus. The chemical thermogenesis, heat production is increased by increased cellular metabolism. This is associated with uncoupling of oxidative phosphorylation. In this condition, the oxidative phosphorylation is associated only with the release of heat rather than generation of ATP. The chemical thermogenesis occurs because of increased sympathetic stimulation and increased secretion of catecholamines, which occurs as part of the response to cold. The role of brown fat contains large amount of special mitochondria where uncoupled oxidation occurs. Adults do not have brown fat, whereas the heat production by this mechanism is only 10 to 15%. In infant, brown fat occurs in interscapular region around the neck, behind the sternum and around the kidneys, so that in the case of infant, increase in catecholamines may increase heat production by 100%. So the increased secretion of thyroxine also promote chemical thermogenesis. The cold climate induces hypothalamus to release TSH and thyroxine. The thyroxine secretion is higher in winter than in summer. In the case of infant, even a short period of exposure to cold increases thyroxine secretion. So next is the behavioral responses is related with the increased heat production, or hyperphagia helps in increased heat production because of specific dynamic action of food. Hyperactivity example, rubbing of palms increases heat production. Seeking out sources of heat, for example, standing out in the sun or fire, consumption of hot food or hot drinks helps in gaining the heat. See, now let us, so far we have seen about the mechanism of heat production and then the mechanism of heat loss. Now let us see this abnormalities in body temperature regulation. So fever, the increase in body temperature is called fever. It is also known as pyrexia. It is the most common symptom sign in ill health. Causes for fever are infection caused by bacteria, viruses, protozoa and other infecting agents are usually associated with fever. The tissue destruction like myocardial infarction, serum sickness and rheumatism are also associated with fever. Pyrexia of unknown origin also reason for that one. Pathogenesis develop when the hypothalamic set point is reset at a higher temperature by the pyrogens. Pyrogens are the toxins liberated from the infecting organism and tissue destruction which act on the phagocytic cells, monocytes, macrophages and Kupffer cells to produce cytokines. The pyrogens are polypeptides which include interleukin and other cytokines which act on the anterior hypothalamus to increase the production of prostaglandin E2. Prostaglandin E2 act on the hypothalamus to increase the thermostat set point. Once the thermostat set point is raised by the pyrogen, the heat producing mechanism and heat conserving mechanism of the body are activated till the body temperature equals the elevated hypothalamic thermostat set point. That is, till fever is produced. Because of this mechanism, during fever there occurs shivering, skin vessels are constricted to minimize the heat loss, rate of metabolism is increased when increase further heat production. Chills are felt in fever when the heat generation and heat conserving mechanisms are active. So the termination of fever where the causes of pyrogens are removed. The set point of hypothalamic thermostat is reset back to the normal. Because of this mechanism, during termination of fever, there occurs cutaneous vasodilation and profuse sweating. The beneficial effect of fever includes inhibition of growth of bacteria, viruses and other infecting organisms. Antibody production is increased when body temperature is raised. Growth of some tumors is slowed down by the increased body temperature. The harmful effect of fever includes dehydration, negative nitrogen balance, loss of sodium chloride and alkalosis. Permanent damage to the brain, kidney and liver may occur when core temperature is more than 41 degrees centigrade for prolonged period. Death may also occur due to heat stroke when temperature rises above 43 degrees centigrade. Hypothermia results when the ambient temperature is so low that the body's heat generation mechanism cannot adequately maintain core temperature near the set point. Infants and old people develop hypothermia more easily than the adults. See, now let us conclude. In this module, we have learnt about the mechanism of the heat gain by muscular activities, basic metabolic process and the dynamic action of food intake and heat loss by radiation, conduction and evaporation. And you might have learnt about this various factors affecting temperature, body temperature regulation and the thermoregulatory mechanisms in extreme condition. And you learned what will happen if any abnormalities in the temperature regulation occurs.